When you think of home entertainment, you think of three things: good visuals, comfort, and then of course, good audio. And while the Hisense AX5100Q could actually be the best sound system out there for the price range. And this video will actually cover everything you should know about it before you buy it for yourself. Now, I do want to note that I have reviewed this on the channel before, but for the past 3 months of me using it, I've noticed quite a few changes, and they actually improve the audio quality for you to actually use. So without further ado, let's get straight to what you need to know about the sound system before you buy it. Now, if you haven't seen my initial review on the sound system, here are just some of the specs you should actually know about the sound system. Now, first of all, it is indeed a 5.1 channel home theater system, which of course includes the soundbar itself, the wireless subwoofer, and of course the two rear speakers, which we'll actually cover a bit later in the video. Now, it does support both Dolby Atmos and DTS-X, which does give you a big experience when it comes to 3D audio. Now, when it comes to connectivity, you can use it via ARC input, optical, USB, and of course Bluetooth. And there are tons of preset sound modes, which includes movie, music, game, sport, night, and of course AI. Which, by the way, if you do want to see all those different modes being tested, you can check that out in my original review. Then of course it does also have a frequency response of 40 Hz or 20 kHz. Which all those specs combined does give you an output of 580 watts, which yes, there is a lot of performance when it comes to the sound system. But now that you actually know all the main specs for the Hisense AX5100Q, let's actually cover some of the things that I've noticed in the past 3 months when it comes to using it for watching movies, YouTube, watching sports, and using it for music. So for the past 3 months, there has been a lot of things that we've noticed. Now first, let's actually talk about the surround speakers. Now of course, for many of you that have watched my previous review, I did note that yes, the rear speakers weren't that loud at all. But for the past month here in October, we've actually noticed that the rear speakers are actually sounding a lot more louder compared to when we actually originally used it 3 months back. And that's actually something that I did not really expect. Because while normally you would think, oh, it's not going to improve that much, but it actually did, and it actually sounds really good once it actually has been basically worked in. So that's actually something that you should actually keep in mind, that you actually do have to kind of break in these speakers before it actually sounds pretty good from what it's supposed to actually give you when it comes to the performance. But now let's actually talk about using it for watching movies. Now of course, when it comes to watching movies with the sound system, it is extremely loud. I actually had a lot of viewers actually ask me about why is the subwoofer on a shelf, because of course it will indeed hinder the bass performance when it comes to the sound system. Which yes, I do want to say that can obviously affect the bass effect, but I do want you to keep in mind, depending on where you're going to be putting the sound system depends on the scenario. Now of course, when it comes to our apartment, the sound system is actually about 2 meters from the couch, which for us, that is more than enough. We don't actually need more bass because, well, having the speaker set at a maximum of 20 is actually more than enough when it comes to using the sound system. Because we do it higher, it actually can cause a lot of vibrations that we have noticed quite a bit. In fact, I actually had a few times where my brother was watching a movie and I was live streaming and I just feel the vibrations from the bass in my room, which just shows you how powerful the bass is when it comes to the Hisense AX5100Q. But when it comes to using it for just standard use when it comes to watching movies or even watching sports, the sound system is impressive. For the past 3 months, we've actually been enjoying it quite a bit, using it for obviously watching F1, which is a nice experience to actually watch F1 using the sound system. And we've actually kind of noticed that sometimes the surround speakers do actually pick up some of the cars, so it does give it more of an immersive feel, which I do actually like. And then when it comes to watching movies, some movies could actually be a lot louder, which is something I'll definitely say is not Hisense's fault, but rather just some movies do have a higher volume. So you do have to kind of adjust the volume, but that's always been a situation when it comes to watching movies. But let's say you're wanting to use this for music. Obviously, music does sound pretty good with the sound system, and the fact that you can actually get a good feel of the music with the sound system just makes it a lot more immersive, especially if you're wanting to listen to the latest songs, or even if you are just wanting to listen to some music when you have some guests over, which of course this can be a perfect fit for you to actually go for. But right now you might be actually also asking, how does it do in gaming? Because of course, some of you might want to have this hooked up to your game console, and you're wanting to have some good game experiences in your entertainment area. Well, for gaming, it actually sounds really good. Now, if you're wanting to play the likes of Call of Duty or even Battlefield 6, which we have kind of tried before, which I'll definitely say is very loud and the immersion does actually give you a good feel. But when it comes to playing some certain titles, it does sound really good. And I mean, if you do enjoy playing some sports games or even playing some racing games, it will actually be a good fit for your setup when it comes to using it for gaming. But now let's actually talk about some of the things that I have noticed that can maybe affect your decision to go for the Hisense AX5100Q. Because yes, we've actually been talking about a lot of the good things about the sound system. But what are some of the downsides of the sound system? Well, there are a few. Now, one is the rear speakers, which yes, we did say it does get a lot better, but of course, making sure you have a good placement for them does improve your audio experience, because if you don't place them correctly, it will just sound a bit wonky. And then of course, it can also mess up your immersion when it comes to some scenarios, whether you're watching a movie or even gaming. Now, of course, besides that, there's also the factor that make sure the sound system is perfect for your room. Now, of course, if you do plan to actually put this in a large room, do note the audio quality might not be as good, because of course, depending on your room size, it depends on how much the audio will bounce around your room. So if you do have a decent sized room, it will work perfectly, but if you have a massive room, it will lose some of the audio effects, which can be a big downside when it comes to your audio experience. And of course, something I do want to say is if you do plan to hook this up to either your home entertainment system or, for example, like what we do, which is connected to our Apple TV, I do want to say, make sure it is connected via ARC, because of course not only does it allow you to actually have more of a easier way to just control everything on one remote, but of course it does ensure that you'll have better audio quality when it comes to using it for your own entertainment. Now, of course, coming close to the end of this video, I do want to say that I have noticed that a lot of the pricings for the sound system is a bit confusing. Now, something I actually did notice with a lot of research is that depending on where you live depends on the name for the sound system. Now, when it comes to some of you that might be based in the United States, there is one retailer that actually does sell it, and that is mostly from Best Buy. If you want to get it from Amazon with America, it is going to be classed as a different name. Now, when it comes to international, when it comes to the likes of Europe, South Africa, which I'm currently based in, and other countries, it will actually be easy to find. So obviously, depending on your location, can depend if you'll find the same sound system, but it could most likely be in a different name. But at the end of the day, do I recommend the Hisense AX5100Q? And my answer to that is yes, I do recommend it for a lot of those that are wanting to get a good audio system for their entertainment use. Whether it's using it for parties, using it for family gatherings, or even using it for entertainment when it comes to watching movies, sports, or even gaming. It can be a good fit for a lot of setups, and of course do keep in mind that depending where you put it, depends on how good the audio quality will actually be. But otherwise, that's everything you should know before you buy the Hisense AX5100Q. But I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next one, be safe as always, and have a great day. Bye.